Alright, so this is my Stamsorc build for update 41, aka Melee Wizard. Call it what you want, I still call it a Stamsorc. We're not casting bubbles and things at people, but I mean, it's neither here nor there. Let's get into it. So, character sheet, have all my points in the magic. I know it's a Stamsorc, but this is how we get our damage on this build. It's a bit unique. As you can see, our weapon damage is a little low, so we get our damage from max stats. We can get that magic up to about 58k with the sets we're running, so not a problem. Bewitched Sugar Skulls, I don't feel like we need the other recovery food. We have 1700 recovery. Our stamp sustain is managed through other means, and if we pop the pot, that's at over 2k, which is well enough for us to sustain easily. We are running the Atro for more sustain. We have enough damage on this build. Once again, this is a flex spot. You can run Lover, you can run Atronach, you can run Shadow, run whatever you want. The Mundus is not important. I prefer more sustain since I play outnumbered. And sometimes I run Vamp Stage 4. Right now we're Vamp Stage 3 though. Vampire is not necessary on this build. We are tanky enough, but sometimes you do get caught with your shield down and things happen. Moving along. We are running Invis Pots. This is just in case you don't want to run Stage 4 Vamp. I often forget I got these slotted. I just learned about them, but they are very useful. Tripods, you can run tripods, detection pots. I love detection pots, but my main pot is one that buffs my spell damage and spell critical. So this is just basically based on all damage. You don't have to buff this way. I'll explain later on the build. Your main pot can be anything. I choose these, but you have all these nice options, so feel free to use whatever pot you use. We do have a decent amount of crit once buffed up. I actually do not know how high that gets, but it can get well, here, let me try to we can get, I don't know, enemy. Okay, that might work. But you have to hit them with a dark magic ability, so I'm trying to proc a frag, and oh my goodness, there it is. So proc a frag, and then our spell critical jumped up to 33%, and once everything's buffed, it's about 41%. I'm not going to go through all the effort because this is a build video, but we get 41% critical on this. Our weapon damage is a bit low, weapon spell damage, but it's negligible on this build. Once again, we're stacking max stats, so keep that in mind. But yeah, we are running Ancient Grace, sharpened. This is our I like this more than my Wretched build. I feel I don't need the sustain on this build. I thought I was gonna have trouble with stam sustain and things like that. Wretched is a great substitute for this, the back bar. We are double barring this, but it's definitely not needed since our shield, our heal, our damage, and our protection is all on the same bar, so it's definitely not needed. I run a stamina enchant glyph just to keep the stam up, plus we get a lot of more, we apply the sundered effect, so we get more damage out of this as well. So yeah, it gives us back stam, and it gives them pain. But back bar, defending. I like the Magicka return glyph, that way if I heavy or light attack, or just heavy attack at all, it can proc the minor Magicka still as well, so you can get a bunch of resources back from this if need be. And defending, because we don't have any heals or anything for powered on the back bar. If I was using a weapon damage glyph, I would use infuse or something like that, but yeah. The stamina enchant is really a big part of our sustain on this, so keep that in mind. So let me go over the sustain real quick. We use the stamina enchant glyph, we use off balance heavy attacks, and we use our race, which I forgot to mention, high elf, in order to return stamina to us. So this build is great, little intricacies in it that allow you to play it if you understand it. So why did I choose high elf? It gives us a freak ton of damage through max mag, weapon and spell damage, and it gives us a lot of sustain. This passive is a lot of sustain. Also, when we're channeling skills, which we are going super offensive with our dizzy swing, basically this is our spammable, we get 5% mitigation. It's absolutely wonderful. Also, if we do decide to use Dark Deal, or you decide to use Dark Deal, again, you get a little extra defense, so a lot more of that healing goes through. So there's a lot of little things about the build that I put together and thought about extremely well. Chudan, because I'm not running an armor buff. There is room for an armor buff on this build, by the way, but it adds a little health and a little. It's just basically tankiness. We aren't the tankiest when our shield is down. We don't want to get one shot, so Chudan's great for that. One trainee, we just have space for it, so why not? It's the best stat dense one piece. And crafty is our last set. We are running one magic recovery glyph. Once again, this is not needed. I prefer more sustain for outnumbered situations. Running another magic recovery glyph, one swift because movement speed is super important in Cyrodiil. And I guess it's all magic recovery, but yeah, it's all, I meant to say 2 arcane and 1 swift, but I'd rather have the recovery than the damage. You can buff the damage up as much as you want, but I mean, as you see in the gameplay footage, I have no trouble bursting anything. Death Dealer's Feat, what can I say? This gives us more damage, more sustain, more max stats, gives us stamina, which is, believe it or not, I have the same amount of stamina as I have on my other Stamsorc that's not building into max match, so take that with a grain of salt or however you want to take it, but yeah, and it gives us more health, so a little more leeway when we get into combat. So I feel this is the best bang for your buck. The things that also work is Sea Serpent Coil, marking, things like that. It's all about playstyle. Like I said, you could go all damage on these glyphs, absolutely be nuking people with, I mean, it's enough damage on this build, you're already nuking people. So I went mostly in pin, one well fitted, because once again, this is a sustain thing. It ties into sprinting, dodge, rolling, and blocking are super like drains on your resources, man. You just don't even realize it. Like when you're sprinting, just constantly going down. When you're blocking and taking damage, it's constantly going down. So you want to take as much strain off of that as you can, whether it be through taking advantage of armor passives. Like these are great. Reducing the cost of sprint is a fantastic thing, especially on a Stamsorc. So a lot of people scoff at the I mean, a free 3k pin. Come on, man. Like weapon and spell critical rating boosted, you know. Well, this is the pin, but you get what I'm saying. This is the free 3k resistance. This is a free 4k pin. Like, I mean, a lot of people don't like light armor. They feel squishy in it, but I mean, we have the vamp, we have the Chudan, we have the trainee to boost health, death dealers. I mean, you're far and away from getting one shot because somebody said you're taking some extra, you know, damage from martial attacks or things like that. Like, just don't even worry about it. But yeah, that's pretty much the build. I'll go over skills real quick because it's very important. So once again, we are a high elf. We're using Jizzy Swing as our channel. You don't have to use this at all, and feel free to change your race to Khajiit, Breton, or anything if you're not using Dizzy, because this build works with dual wield as well. So keep that in mind. It also works with the staff, but then I wouldn't say too much of a Stamsorc at that point. You're just a max sorc. But Crystal Fragments, this is a flex spot. You can use bound armaments, whatever you want. But once again, this is a burst build, so these are 2 big burst abilities. Inner Light, this is also a flex spot. You could actually put bound armaments here or anything here. Crit Surge, this is where you can put your armor buff if you don't want to run Chudan and instead you prefer Balrog or Bloodspawn or any of the such. Like, this is just my build, as you can tell with all the detect pots and things. I just do not like getting ganked unsuspectedly, or rather the fact that even if they do gank me, it's fine, but they are able to get away. I want to be able to keep them from ganking again in that battle and move on to the next. It's our shield. It's not fully buffed, and it's quite strong. It's not in PvP anyway, so keep in mind it's cut in half, but in PvP it's around 14k. Death Dealer's up. Executioner. Dawnbreaker. Really, this works with Overload. This works with Astro, not so much with 2H all Berserker Strike, but definitely the one that gives you pin. It's all about preference, but this is just hard hitting, smashing, dangerous damage. Back bar could be anything. You can run any skill you want. I prefer this for the magic of recovery. you get from the support passives. Yeah, so 10% is no joke. We have higher recoveries on our back bar than our front bar. I'm certain 2200 is nothing to sneeze at all, especially excuse me, you know, especially since our moves are not magicka intensive, and sometimes we may use Dark Deal, which I'm gonna get into right now. Dark Deal is also a flex. So let's say you don't want to run Chudan, or you do like Chudan. Well, you can swap this out for Crit Surge. Once again, I told y'all I was buffing with potions. Not necessary on this build. I know a lot of people hate wasting their potion for such a thing. I don't mind, because my potions, I used to use tripods and things for like sustain and a burst heal, but now I have the burst heal kind of coupled with the skill, and the sustain is basically like my 58k max mag when I'm buffed. So I'd rather use the bar space for something else. Dark Deal, just in case we do have a oh shit stam moment. It does gives us minor force buff and a small heal, but it's mostly if we have an oh shit moment with our sustain, like oh crap, there's just too much going on in the battle, let me Dark Deal. It's purely there for that. The heal is borderline useless. Critical damage is mitigated by the fact we have, well, not mitigated, but it's irrelevant because we have this to also give us the same buff and speed as well, and snare removal. So yeah, I use Bound Aegis. You could use Vigor here if you want. I just like to set it and forget it. And PvE 1vx, I mean PvP 1vx situations, you don't want an extensive buff rotation. Like I literally have to use shield and dizzy swing. Simplistic for bursting somebody. If Crystal Frag procs, I'll shoot that, and then I'll go back into my shield, dizzy swing combos, and if need be, I'll reapply my buffs. So simplistic. On my Warden, it's even like I hit sub assault, and then I just spam dizzy until I have to hit heals or anything like that. Necro has a rather, it's crazy, but I won't get into that. But it's the same with most classes. Open world is not like a duel where you have all the time in the world. You literally have milliseconds to get that kill off before somebody heals them, or they break free and they heal themselves, or somebody's attacking you with damage and you have to heal yourself and you can't go offensive. So this is a rule of thumb with any build, anywhere you go. Try to keep it simplistic open world. I know a lot of people fear getting into 1v1s and things like that, but as long as you're smart about it, it's fine. Organic open world 1v1s are, I mean 1v1s in general are meaningless. Don't go in there to think about that. Think about simplicity. You don't want to be thinking about, I gotta put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots on this guy. It may work. You may burst that guy uncontrollably, like he might be just explode and go into nothing, but you just literally spent 10 seconds you could have spent doing something in 4 seconds, and it may cost you the battle. You may win as well. So, but simplicity is the best option in my opinion. So Ball of Lightning, you'll see me go back and forth between this and Streak. It depends on how much range is hitting me that day. I don't really need the snare removal since we run Race Against Time. And Streak is also a great stun. It's not blockable, so it's absolutely great. I'm running Ball of Lightning now because it was crazy. I was in Eamon stream and it was nothing but ranged people, so, and I just didn't change it back. But for right now, Ball of Lightning. Ellie Sus, this is giving us Fracture. It's going through our status effects. It makes us so we don't have to run a shot glyph. I mean, it's just a lot of free damage, high uptime, Fracture. What more can you ask for in a skill? It's great, and you can apply it to multiple targets, which is lovely if you're just like trying to keep a little constant pressure on somebody and going with your burst, like say with your Dawnbreaker or something like that. And Race Against Time. This is also not needed. Like, you can survive with just this and speed. I'm only running 1 Swift, and you know, sometimes I just feel like I need more speed. I'm not really getting the speed I get from medium armor in light armor, so, and light and heavy. I have 1 medium for Undaunted passive, so yeah, man, I would say it's needed for outnumbered, but for 1v1s and such like that, not even, to me, I don't even need it on the bar, to be honest. But I like to plan for a lot of situations. I know you see me playing with Blap and Leonard a lot, but that's what you see on stream. It's like 5 hours for one day, or 4 hours for another day, or 3 hours for another day. In essence, I play this game off stream, and I'm usually alone. And being alone is not a friendly place in Cyrodiil or Imperial City. Trust me, man. You want tools at your disposal for movement and getting away. Like, it's not a joke out here. Unless you're Zerg surfing or something like that, then what I said is irrelevant. So it is a flex spot. Streak is fine, flex spot, and flex spot. So you can definitely fit crit, surge, armor buff, anything you want on here. But, you know, that's the build. I'm going to do CP this time. Always forget. So we have master. I don't know what the hell green CP is for. Rationer liquid efficiency and this damn riding speed, so you're not slow and zero. This saves you on potions. This saves you on food for a little bit. Okay. Blue tree. So we're gonna go over things. Duelist rebuff. I really like Ironclad, but I don't know, man. In this meta where like Max Orcs are out here and everything they do is damn near single target, bro, is like, man, it's absolutely disgusting. So are Nightblade, so I feel like this is a little better. Crit resist buff, I mean, Nightblades, man. What can I say, bro? This is the anti-Nightblade weapon right here. This combined with N-Pin, you should be okay. Like, don't say KOG says you were going to be okay and go out there and get bursted. Nightblades are still going to be able to kill you, but this will mitigate a lot of ganks and things like that. They would often one-shot you and allow you to recover and resist. Deadly aim and master at arms, so we have 2 damage, 2 defensive CP in the blue, but oftentimes I will run the off-balance CP, and since I said we have 41% crit, we often run fight and finesse and exploit. I also play around with force of nature because we do have LE drain, LE sus, whatever, and I'm just giving you guys, like, you'll see me running different CP and you'll be like, what the hell? But I mean, we have LE sus, it's really good, and then we can proc sundered from this, and yeah, that's like an extra 4K pin. Our pin right now is like, oh my gosh, that's not it. Our pin right now is 10K, so imagine getting 14K just for doing your normal rotation of putting LE sus on them and then hitting them with whatever your damage is. It's actually a lot of freaking damage, man, but sometimes static damage is better. Like I said, in the Exen scenario, sometimes I don't want to wait on off balance or hope that I crit, so the upfront damage is better sometimes. And oftentimes the fights are long and drawn out where these things will be better. You're not gonna know, man. You're just gonna have to fill out that day and see what's going on. That's all I can say, man. Like, but those are all great options. And we have celerity. This again, in a solo scenario, you can just tell I was soloing on this build because I have everything solo set up. Celerity is a lot more important to me, but maybe not solo. You could run Shield Master for some more sustain. You could run this for more health. Great underrated passive. More armor. Whatever you need, man. More sustain. You would use sustain by suffering. Anything like that. Bastion. I mean, this is a no-brainer. We run a shield on the build. Relentlessness. So major protection is very strong, and there's not that many sources of it. Since I don't want to put flare on the bar, I use this. It's only 3 seconds, give or take, but most people, when they're trying to kill you, are doing it after you're CC'd and bursted, the smart ones. The other ones are just trying to kill you all the time and going willy-nilly. But that's not the real reason I have this. So Darkness Stun is a bit wonky, and it'll leave you hanging in it for a while, as well as any fear, whether it be Werewolf or Nightblade fears, or the Fighters Guild fear. End cap is wonky sometimes, so on laggy days, this is mandatory. When it's not that laggy, Survival Instincts is great, Slippery is great, and Sustained by Suffering are way better than that passive. But I always, for some reason, get into those situations where breaking free is impossible. And I don't like to whine and cry about it. I'll do something about it, which is like this. It's only 3 seconds, but that's kind of what the delay is. 1 to 2 to 3 seconds. Excuse me, by the way. Haven't been feeling well lately, so ignore those 2 coughs that's going to go on through this video. We'll try to make it 3. Anyways, yeah, man. 2 to 3 second delays is what'll probably get you killed. And hopefully it doesn't happen, but if it did, this is important. If not, you have several raid options that I just listed. Pain's Refuge is something I wouldn't take off. It's just free mitigation, and it's our last slottable. So these Relentlessness and Celerity are flexible. You do not need them. Survival Instincts and Sustained by Suffering are very good if you have smooth performance. And Slippery, you can kind of combine with this to auto proc, but I don't find it's necessary. Slippery on his own is great though for sustain. And like I said on this build, if you're not comfortable with the stamina sustain and knows how it works, you could be in for a hard time. This is not an easy build though. Actually, let me explain something to you. So I know this is a very long build video, but this build is like a great 1v1 build. Like, it's not a top tier 1v1 build, but for dueling, it's a lot of pressure, decent sustain, and decent defenses. So it's not a dueling build, but in 1v1s, you will definitely be able to hold your own in situations like no CP, Cyrodiil, and random fights. What it's not, it's great in BGs as well. It's not a great open world build. The reason why is they don't give a crap about your shield. You know, shield is what makes this like a great dueling build, because you can stand the pressure and then dizzy them and have more mitigation and things like that. And it allows you to use a tricky skill like Dizzy, which is absolute dog crap, to apply pressure for once. Most of the time with Dizzy, you're stuck in a weird animation and a channel cast time, and it's very detrimental. Like, they can hit you 4 times before you hit them the once. And yes, with great movement and moving around, you can do like fantastic things if you're used to Dizzy, but more often than not, you're gonna get outplayed by like a Stamsorc or a Nightblade or a really strong DK or something like that. But this can really be good to like take out the fodder, take out the trash, as to say. So I wouldn't sleep on it 1v1. Very hard open world because mobility and things are important. We're in light and heavy armor to get this to set up the way we want. And the pressure of a shield is like heals and things work over time, you know, so vigor, rapid regen, things like that are great for outnumbered situations because you're kiting and you're healing the damage off like while you're not under attack. And we don't have that on the build. That's why I said you can throw vigor or something here. But I should say it's just not good at low level. You have to use your line of sight more. You have to be able to put your shield up and move exactly. Like I said, they can take that shield as soon as you put it up. It can be gone, and then you're just stuck like trying to mitigate damage or streak or something like that. And rather than having heals over time and hots or like rally to constantly bump your health, then go back to vigor and things like that. So I say, like, when you're standing and fighting someone, one person, it's kind of way easier to mitigate damage versus a lot of people. It's not going to be as good as a pure Stamsorc. It's not going to be as good as a pure Magsorc, but it is a fun build that I find fun, that I put together, and it can definitely be strong once you learn it. I'm still not even learning this because as soon as I made this, I started playing all types of things like Arcanist and trying to get my Crow to work and things like that. So you may have seen like 3 or 4 Melee Wizard streams, but I'm actually going to buckle down, play this, and get used to it, aka Stamsorc Melee Wizard, and bring out the full potential of it. Because yeah, and as y'all can see, I've made several tweaks and changes since its initial debut, so keep that in mind. It is very powerful, don't get it slept on. It doesn't have to be the best, it doesn't have to be Magsorc, it doesn't have to be Hybrid Blade, Stam Blade, it doesn't have to be Stamsorc, Proc-Sorc, Bow-Sorc. It doesn't have to be full power DK. It doesn't have to be any of those things to, I mean, it doesn't mean it's weak. It just means it takes a bit more finesse to play and get better at. And the people you'll face will definitely think you're pretty freaking strong, bro. Even the Zergs, they run you over. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out your hair. If you have any questions, leave it down below. This has been the Melee Wizard build. It's your boy KOG Ouchie. Peace.